Wait.
Njege menipiga search kwa rodi na baada kupata yo mali Gaza na ban ki hash na brody hishi ni XP bei gali Gaza na spin ki whip kwa rodi backseat imejaza mabadi Gangi napiga matisa kwa rodi bandana ya ready si bali Ni ma whip kwa rodi mabadi kwa rodi manze.
Alright YouTube, so today we'll be breaking down Gazahoti's Rowdy. It's a beat I made back in August last year, I think. I think we can check the date. It's 2025 August the 30th, and I sent it to him around December, and he did the song and released it early January this year. It was a surprise drop, so I didn't really know much about it, but we gonna just get into the drop right away. It's actually a simple beat, nothing too crazy going on. The melody is actually simple, maybe just a bit of the main element here is kind of like resampling and playing with the audio. That's the main takeaway here. Like there's no direction. I mean, there's a combination. It's a hybrid of mixing direct instruments and maybe some other audio manipulation techniques, you know, like stretching, half timing, you know, all that good shit. So we're gonna get into the melody right now. So the melody, what we're aiming for is an end product that sounds like this. This is what we ended up with, what we ended up chopping up to use for the actual beat. It sounds like this. Yeah, it sounds like shit right now, but you heard it in context. That shit is hard, bro. Alright, we began with this pad. I believe it's a pigment preset. I don't really have the preset right now because my CPU weak as fuck, and I had to like take out the plugin. But I can show you the MIDI. But here's the sound. Here's how it sounds. So it's a smooth pad. It's got some effects to it. I can't recall what I put up because you know when I'm working, I manipulate the sounds first and then I mix later. So whatever I had beforehand does not end up in the final mix. So it has some effects. I can't tell you what I did to it, but the bass pad wasn't sounding like that at all. So here's the MIDI for that pad. Let me just put it in FL keys so y'all can hear it. You see, I'm not a fraud. I know my MIDI, bro. So it sounds like this. Yeah, so basic chords, I think it's an A sharp minor chord to a D sharp minor chord. The A sharp is a bit modified. I think we call that augmenting or something like that. Yeah, but it's basically two chords sounding very dark. So anyway, we did some more manipulation to the pad and it ended up sounding like this. For the mixing, nothing too crazy going on. It's basically just an EQ. I had processed it beforehand, so when I get to the final mixing, I don't usually have to do too much. So it's already pre-compressed. Just a basic EQ cutting out the lows. Next sound we got. Oh, not the next sound. So after that, like we manipulated the pad a bit more. I think we put it in a shaper box and then we automated the volume, so it has kind of like this dips for more groove. Yeah. Next we have a flute. I know you heard the flute, bro. I think that's the main highlight of the beat. That's the flute. So here's how it sounds. And there's the MIDI for the flute. So once again, we can hear it in FL keys. Yeah, and you see the good stuff, playing with the velocity, giving it that human feel and all that. Yeah, they're simple things, but they elevate your beat. The next sound, I think is the same flute, but we just pitched it up for some sections of the song. Not that, damn. Yeah, sounding really good. Next is the bass. So following the root notes of the chords, you can see the A sharp to the D sharp. Did I mention we were in D sharp minor? Yeah, we're in D sharp minor at 140 BPM for the BPM warriors. Next we have the strings. Yeah, my favorite okay, I wouldn't say it's my favorite instrument, but it's definitely top 5. So the only different about this is it's pretty much the same chords, but we just playing around, inverting it. The chords that were a bit low, we put them down. So like the D sharp, it goes down like something like that, but you see it's playing at a high octave. It sounds like this. Yeah, simple shit. Don't overcomplicate stuff. There's a time to complicate stuff, and we gonna get to a tutorial where we're doing crazy shit. But right now, it's just a simple simplicity. So I think the weirdest part of the sample is like we had this sample of someone doing a spoken word, I believe. Oh, damn.
In my dreams, baby, you are so pure, so bright. Yeah, once again, I'll sing once more to remind you, dear.
So at this point, what I'm thinking in my head while I'm making the beat is, I already have all those sounds, and I'm trying to add like more unique texture. So I chopped out the vocal sample into bits, and then I think I ran it through Guitar Rig, some sort of effects, and then this is the end product. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, but it came out fire. So anyway, here's the finished product before I started like messing around with it. Already sounding like almost the final product. So as I said, the final thing was made by, like consolidating all these different instruments into one audio track. And then once we had that, I believe we chopped it up, stretched it a bit, all those good things, time shifted. So you get like this sort of texture that works really well because there's no instrument that's on top. It's like an ambient texture, which is really good. it's not empty, so it's like full. Yeah. Processing for it, you'll be surprised because basically have like an EQ cutting out the lows and a simple leveling compressor. Yeah, and that's for the melody. Let's get into the drums. So all of them, we're doing a basic. It's a hood trap beat, you know. So you're going for that bounce. You gotta have the varying 808s. Gotta have that Benny X bass, you know. I don't call it a Benny X bass. I just call it a new jazz bass, but we gonna call it a Benny X bass for now. Anyway, the drum sound like this. So the first one playing, it's playing like the basic hood trap bounce, you know, like. I believe it's hitting on the 4 of each bar. Yeah, basic. We have again. So we have a stomp with kind of the lows filtered out towards the end, and then we have another perk. No. Oh, and we have delay on that one. Here's the settings for it. And now we get to the thick part, you know, the thick. Yeah, it goes on like this. I don't know why that shit keeps playing. Anyway, next we have the 808. Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. So the other 808s, we have a CTM. You gotta have a CTM, bro. If you don't have a CTM in a hood jerk beat, what are you doing, bro? I don't think it's the original CTM. It's a bit modified, but it's a CTM variant. I mentioned the Benny X bass before. The new jazz ones, like bow. Yeah, bow. Yeah, and they're set to cut each other, so like when one's playing, the other one is not playing. See the hi-hats? I really think I outdid myself. I usually don't play around with my hats a lot, but I really messed around here. Velocity's doing a lot of shit. You know, we got them in different pitches, all those different things, you know. I think Pooh would be proud of me. and it keeps going. I'm not going to play all of it. We got places to be, like places like arrangement views. This is where everything came together. I think the only sound I haven't mentioned is probably the effects, the fills, the transitions, and these are basic samples. You just dragging them in. Intro, and we have ones that lead towards the hook or the chorus. I had another extra bass, for the intro and the outro, and it's a bass with a really rich high end. So I had to place like a low pass filter on it, and then we automated it. So when it begins, the low pass filter is like kind of really low, and then as the beat progresses, like the filter opens up. On the outro, the opposite happens. Anyway, so for the intro, we used like the original sounds, like the pad and the strings, I believe. And then for the hook, we cut out the sample and we played the actual instruments, to give the beat some more breathing space as it leads into the other verse section. And then for the outro, that works the same. So we have 3 8-bar sections for the verse, 16 bars for the hook, another 16 section for the second verse, another 16 for the verse, and then an outro. So yeah, that's basically how I made the beat, bro. I want to say appreciate you for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, and maybe I'm trying to do more content. We're gonna have more breakdowns, more tutorials coming soon. Just believe, trust, bro. In the meantime, just subscribe, bro. Maybe comment, say what you want to hear. Yeah, just comment anything, bro. Just say something. It helps out a lot. I'm gonna leave all relevant links in the description. The beat, the song. Yeah. And I'm gonna see you on the next one.
Is that late?